Death plays a big part in a lot of movies, and a lot of movies have very memorable death scenes, but I think that one franchise, above all of the rest, should truly be crowned the king of the kill, and that is the Indiana Jones series. You might think that title should belong to some horror franchise like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think that the deaths in the Indiana Jones series are even more nerve-wracking. With that being said, let's take a look at my top 10 worst ways to die in an Indiana Jones movie. Before we get into the list, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to get more content like this every week.
You have chosen wisely.
Just going to throw up that huge spoiler warning for the Indiana Jones series. If you haven't seen them, I definitely recommend them. Number 10 is going to be being run over by a vehicle. I feel bad for this guy who seems to get run over from groin to head. And then this guy that gets turned into a pancake by the tank in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I do not envy him at all. Number 9 on this list is going to be being impaled. Everything from being stabbed in the back by ancient spike traps to being impaled by a flaming skewer in a Chinese nightclub. I mean, look at this guy. He did not die quickly or painlessly. Number 8 on our list is going to be being cut up by an airplane propeller. This one doesn't rank crazy high on the list because, like I mentioned before, I think a quick death makes it a little less scary. This guy turned around and just for a second realized, oh, I'm in trouble, before he was turned into a fine mist. Number 7 is going to be being crushed by a tank after it falls off of a cliff. I absolutely love the fact that you can see the little dummy on the miniature of the tank. This guy is a messed up Nazi and he had it coming, but you can tell by the look on his face here that he was definitely scared, and scared longer than the guy with the propeller. Number 6, we're just going to go ahead and call head trauma, and this is going to be the fate of the 3 big bads at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I put head trauma because they all have different fates. One of their heads explodes, one of their heads implodes, and most memorably, one of their heads melts. It's imagery like this that makes me say that Indiana Jones is better than any of those horror franchises when it comes to memorable kills. You might argue that the power of God should be ranked a little bit higher on this list, but for me, dying like this is so far out of my realm of comprehension that it has to be lower because I cannot even possibly imagine what it would feel like. Number 5 on our list is going to be being given too much knowledge by an ancient race of aliens and then having your head disintegrate. Similarly to the head trauma in number 6, this one is ranking not too high on the list because I frankly have no idea what it would feel like. Though I do know that when your eyeballs start burning like this, it's never a good sign. Number 4 is getting ripped apart by crocodiles. Now, not only does Malaram get ripped apart by crocodiles, it's after he falls off a cliff, bounces off the side of it, that he is then devoured by these beasts. This one is going to take a while. Like, we only hear screams for a minute, but you know for a fact that this guy is still alive down there being eaten for a long time. Number 3 is going to be another case of being eaten alive, but this time instead of crocodiles, it's going to be being eaten alive by a bunch of ants. This one's going to rank higher for me because these guys are definitely going inside and not just ripping your arms off. No matter who you ask about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, this is definitely the part of the movie that everybody looks at and remembers with at least a little bit of fondness. Number 2 on the list is going to be the event that traumatized me as a kid, and that's having your heart ripped out and then being lowered into a pit of lava. I questioned even whether or not to put the heart ripped out part on the list because after having his heart ripped out, this guy is definitely still alive. It's not until he hits that lava and is turned extra crispy that he is in fact dead. It makes me wonder, if he hadn't gone into the lava, how long would this guy have lasted? Could he have gone on and just led the rest of his life with his heart out of his body? The sheer panic and fear on this guy's face really sells the awfulness of this death as well. And then finally, my number 1 is going to be the death you receive by drinking the wrong grail, accelerated aging. We all know what it's like to get old. It's not fun. Your body stops working, your hair turns gray, you turn into a skeleton. Now, of course, for most of us, this happens over, the better part of 100 years. But for our guy right here, it's happening within about 15 seconds. Can you imagine all the feelings of getting old that you would feel over that amount of time happening to you all at once? It's the understatement of this video to say that it would be bad. But as awful as it is, it sure makes for a memorable death. And so that is my list, my top 10 worst deaths in an Indiana Jones movie. What would your number one be? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested in this actually, because I think we could get a lot of different answers. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We look forward to seeing you next time when we put out our next video. Until then, you take care, and we'll see you then.